Alright, let's check out what's going on with Solana. In this video, we're going to start off by checking out how Solana is performing against the US dollar, and then we're going to wrap things up with how Solana is performing against Bitcoin. Let's jump right into the video. So, since the most recent network outage on Solana, the price action has really not been too favorable. We've moved from approximately $47. We went all the way down to 35, but now we are bouncing up a tiny bit. Now, I am going to jump into what to expect from this bounce, but first of all, you can see once again we've done this twice. We've come down twice into the 1.618 fib. If we zoom out, this is a very macro level, which makes sense why we've bounced on this a few times. From this low, basically after we did the triple bottom on Solana, one bottom, two bottom, three bottom, absolute crazy run up. This Fibonacci from $78 all the way up to $143. Has this 1.618 fib. Now, there's no other targets that we can draw from this because the 2.618 is in the minuses, but the 1.618 nonetheless, absolutely perfectly, like clockwork, once again came down to this and bounced. Previously, we had a pretty big move up after this, very quickly actually, but this time, we're kind of just slowly lollygagging to the upside. At this moment in time, in the short term, we really need to get above the EMA ribbons, but more specifically, the 13 EMA is a level that I absolutely think that we will need to get over if we do want to be bullish for Solana. Let me explain why I think this is such a huge level. Let's zoom out a few steps to when we actually crossed the 13 EMA. And this was on the most recent dead cat bounce that we had. Well, you say dead cat bounce, but it was a pretty big bounce. Macro market structure was still a dead cat bounce. You can see 13 EMA flip bullish, $84 all the way up to 143. What happened once we capitulated below the 13 EMA? Well, that was $121, and since then we've come into it and got rejected at $106. We tried to flip it, we M patterned back beneath it. You know, a confirmed breakout is when you break it, backtest, and then push above the invalidation point. We didn't do that. We just simply came up and M'd out. That's not a bullish sign. So we got rejected over 106 from 120. We got rejected at 102. Then we got rejected at 94. And quite recently, we got rejected at 52 and 48. So this can come up. This can come up a couple of percent or so, but we really need to start gearing up and getting ready for a big move to the upside if we want to at least have a very small bounce. But I don't think this is what's going to be happening. I think in the short term, this is probably where we're going to come up to. I think we're very likely to top out and then come back down and make new lows. That is my opinion. So I find it quite hard to believe that Solana would be able to have a big move above $43. But bear in mind, if it does get above 43, we need to start putting in daily closes and seeing continuation. Because if I said this back here and I said, you know, I don't think we'd get over 53, we went all the way up to almost 55, but then we came back down for the backtest and failed the backtest. So if you are looking for a bullish breakout, at least wait for a backtest of the 13 EMA and then the breakout round about $44. Until that happens, I would not be bullish on Solana, as I do think it is moving down to some lower price targets on the daily time frame. The volume has been a pretty concise mix between flat volume and exponentially increasing volume, just like it has been for the last little while. It is predominantly selling volume, which is something to note. And as I always say, volume predicts price. And at this moment in time, what is the volume doing? The volume is exponentially growing in favor of the bears. These are all red candles that we're seeing over here on the weekly. And like I said, I mean, it is, you know, you do have seas of green within this sea of red, but it is predominantly selling volume. So that is what we need to take into consideration. Obviously, it's predominantly selling volume. We can look at the price action. We can see that it is predominantly sellers in the market at this moment in time. I would also like to highlight, you know, no matter how you draw this, we have unfortunately invalidated your 786 fib. Like I said, there's literally no way that you can draw this, that we haven't capitulated by the 786. Even if you wanted to draw something like this, You know, we've already capitulated below the 786. So it seems pretty black and white that we are bearish on Solana. Macro terms, $70 was literally your last line in the sand. I know that I've been covering Solana for months. I am a huge macro Solana bull. I think it's a great project. However, at $70, I did flip bearish. And, you know, thank God I did, because we're all the way down here at $40. And we came down to 35, which is literally 50% from when I sold my Solana. Since I sold my Solana as well, I had a couple of price targets. I was estimating for the past month or so that Solana is going to come all the way down between the ranges of $26 and $19. Now, I still do think both of these targets are very valid, and there's a very, very high likelihood of us coming down, you know, another 51% from where we are right now. However, Solana's market cap is literally over 13 billion right now. 13 billion, that is very, very high, and it still managed to hold rank number 9 despite its recent network outages, which I do find quite strange. I feel like this maybe should have tipped down a peg. Honestly, it's kind of crazy to say that I think Dogecoin should have a higher market cap than Solana, but you know, the fact of the matter is this network has been horrible to use for the past couple of months, and it has not just been in the past week that the network outage came and it was hard to use Solana. Like I said, I'm a massive Solana bull. If you go over to my YouTube profile, this profile pic is a Solana NFT. These little trash pandas here, these are Solana NFTs. I've got Solana in my banner. I'm clearly not, you know, an enemy of Solana or anything, but the network has been horrible to use. I've been struggling to get any transactions to go through. I think I said this in the live stream, but I had an NFT giveaway in the Discord, so, you know, make sure you join the Discord if you want free giveaways and all that good stuff for the community. But I gave away a Solana NFT, and it literally took me 3 days worth of failed transactions, over 26 failed transactions, to go on Magic Eden and buy an NFT. That is ridiculous. And that was before the network, quote unquote, went out. You know, it was unusable for days and days before that. So the Solana network right now, it really only functions as an NFT marketplace. It can't function as anything else for Web3 or gaming. I mean, could you imagine if you're playing, you know, Call of Duty or something, or, you know, a play to earn game on Solana, and every day or every couple of days you've got a network outage, like, oh, I can't play today because the network's down, or if Solana's meant to be the Web3 of, you know, decentralized social media platforms, like we've got, you know, new Facebooks, new Instagrams, new Snapchats built on top of Web3. Imagine not being able to send out a tweet or not being able to respond to emails or anything like that because the Solana network is garbage almost all the time. So, like I said, I'm a big fan of Solana, but they really do need to get their stuff together if they, you know, I know they don't care about me at all, but if I'm personally going to be DCAing down at $20, $10, wherever I think Solana's going to bottom at in the future, I really need to see some improvements in the Solana blockchain, because the Solana blockchain's been basically unusable for the past week, which has been a massive shame. I've been a massive Solana bull before, but I can't just keep on, you know, watching the network go down and down and down and down and down. I think this was the 8th time this year that it's gone down. It was definitely the 2nd time this month that it went down, and it's just, it's kind of getting a little bit too much. Solana really needs to sort out its shit. Like I said, I think we're going to come up to the 13 EMA, but I'm not necessarily saying that's what we have to do. I'm saying macro term, I'm very convinced that Solana is going to come down to either $26 or $19. But what I want to say on top of that is I would not be surprised if we went slightly lower, if we went to $15 or even $10. Bear in mind, the market cap is exceptionally high. 14 billion for a beta network which can't run half the time is a little bit too high, in my opinion. If you asked me a couple of months ago when Solana was, you know, usable or predominantly usable throughout most of the time, I would have had a different perspective, but there's only so many network outages that you can have day after day after day before, you know, you have to start switching your tone on things. So I think we are coming down still. I'm predicting that the conservative breakdown would be a 33% drop, more bearish drop would be a 51% drop, and, you know, the fact that we're already capitulating below the previous May 2021 all-time high is really, really telling that we're going to move lower, in my opinion. Now, wrapping up the video on Sol BTC, it was only a couple of days ago that we massively capitulated below the lows. Zooming out as well, you had a double 786 fib, depending on whether you want to draw the fib. Oh, wrong tool. Depending on whether you wanted to draw the fib from the candle wick or the candle body close, you are left with these double 786 Fibonacci's. And even if you draw the conservative one down to here, then we have invalidated it. We are going much, much lower, especially against Bitcoin, in my opinion. Technically, the next breakdown level would be this 1.618, which from where we are at this moment in time would be about another 18% drop against Bitcoin. But as I'm predicting, you know, almost a 50% drop against the USD pair, well, the next level down on the Bitcoin pair would be a 55% drop. And if this does happen, unless Bitcoin just trends sideways, which I don't think it's gonna do for much longer, then Solana is probably going to come down a little bit harsher than $19, at least in my opinion. Bear in mind, you know, there's 1,000,001 different indicators saying this. We've capitulated below the 786 on both the USD and BTC pair. Market structure is really, really bad. The fundamentals are kind of lagging behind because the Solana network, you know, I heard the other day that apparently their network was upgraded, but you know, all the problems seem to come in after that happened. So Solana, they really need to get their stuff together. Market structure does not look good. All the altcoins don't look good, to be honest. So I mean, it's not just Solana, but once again, volume predicts price. Volume is exponentially increasing. How does volume predict price? Well, you can see as we topped out here, we started to see an increase in bearish volume, and because of that, we topped out you know, 260, whatever it was, and we rolled all the way down to 180 before we started getting some bullish volume coming in. You know, this is very evident that volume predicts price, and at this moment in time, bearish volume is exponentially increasing, which means that we should expect the price against the US dollar to exponentially decrease. That's all I've got for today's video. Really not looking too good. Bears are in control of the momentum indicators like the squeeze mom. On the 4-hour and the daily, it's pretty flat right now. So it seems like we're about to have a big move. We could switch over to a bullish wave, or we could be resetting for another bearish wave. Let me know, pick your poison. What do you think is going to be happening? I think we're resetting and getting ready for another bearish wave. I personally struggle to believe that Solana would be pumping massively above $43. If it happens, so be it. But like I said, I sold most of my Solana at $72, and I've been hedging my bets to the downside since then. That's all I've got for you today for Solana. Best of luck. Like I said, not looking good. Fundamentals not looking good. Technicals not looking good. And you know, I don't necessarily know if I can justify a 13.4 billion market cap for a network that is out most of the time. That's all I've got for Solana. Best of luck as always. Cowboy out. Peace.